Hello, folks. Thank you for joining me today. I've decided I'm going to go up the Imperial Japanese gunboat line on the destroyers. So this is going to be a Tier 6 match in the Hatsuharu on the map New Dawn. The enemy team has a Hatsuharu, a Fushin, and a T-22. Lots of cruisers that I have to be aware of. And 4 juicy battleships. Because I am going up the IJN gunboat line, this is an 11-point commander, but I am running priority target, faster turret traverse, because the Imperial Japanese Navy has notoriously slow turrets. I am running superintendent and IFHE. Now, this is an 11-point commander, so I will be picking up last stand at 12 points. This is actually an old cruiser commander that I put on here. The skills kind of lined up somewhat. And the reason I want IFHE doesn't help me at all below tier 8 in this line. But tier 8 and above, which is where we want to be, IFHE is a requirement. So I can make this captain work. It's not ideal right now, but I can make it work. Now, leading into this, we see that an enemy destroyer has popped a premature smoke screen for some reason. Yeah. Spawning up toward the north and west, I decide I want to head down the western flank. And being that I'm not running concealment, I have a 6.5 kilometer concealment, which is actually pretty terrible. Looking at the lineup, there's an enemy Hatsuharu, which if he's running concealment, he will definitely outspot me. The Fushin will outspot me. The only one that I may be able to outspot is that T-22. Because at tier 5, he may not have, it's a fairly large boat, and he may not have concealment yet. So I need to be careful on my engagements here. This was actually the first game in the T-22 since I picked up the improved torpedo on the torpedo upgrade. So this is my first game with the 10-kilometer torpedoes. And Japanese torpedoes are really strong in this game. They're the best damaging torpedoes, but they at lower tiers they tend to be a little slow, and they have a horrendous detection range. You're going to see them almost 2 kilometers away, so it gives people a lot of reaction time to them. Take a peek at these firing arcs, though, man. This ship has some great firing arcs on its torpedoes. So heading into this western flank, I'm trying to see who's going to be the best target. I want to fire these torpedoes with as much range as I can, or at least making sure that I remain stealthed. But looking at this Trento, he's not really being a good candidate. He is aggressively maneuvering. We also have the Budyoni that's heading in this way. The other enemy targets are all heading outbound, and the Trento is actually heading outbound as well. So, yeah. If you pay attention, the torpedo lead indicator for replays really isn't that good. It's kind of buggy, so it doesn't always lock onto the right target, and that may be an issue during this replay, but I'll let you know what's really happening. Right here I make a mistake. The Budyoni launched his spotting aircraft, and I begin to fire at him, and thankfully I don't get spotted. I forgot to turn off my secondaries and AA. As a destroyer, that's the first thing you want to do, unless you actually have rocket planes coming in at you, and unless you actually have decent AA on your ship, you want to make sure that you turn your secondaries and AA off. So now I'm looking at this Budyoni, and in game I had actually targeted the Budyoni, and what I can see on his torpedo lead indicator is that he's slowing down. He appears to be stopping behind this island. And why he is stopping when he knows he is still spotted, I really don't know. So what I'm going to do is throw some torpedoes on the lead indicator, which has him stopping a little bit ahead, just in case he begins to move again. And then I'm going to turn out to make sure I maintain my stealth. I'm still kind of wondering, that Fushin, we know where the Hatsuharu is. He's showing up on the mini-map, and there goes the Fushin. The T-22, we don't know where he is yet, though, and I don't want to run into it, be outspotted by an enemy DD. Especially not sitting with a Budyoni right there. That would not be good for me, because his guns can hurt me. Now the Budyoni had actually continued to back up. He continued into a reverse, and they're not having targeting. You see he's moving out forward now. Had he continued in reverse, he would have been fine. But, man, there goes some torpedoes. All right. Those were probably the, there we go. 2 torpedo strikes, a 3rd strike for the dev strike, and first blood. Thank you, Mr. Budyoni. All right. So first kill, got the Budyoni off the flank. Still have the Trento over there. And we have a New York that's heading this way. And for some reason, the bulk of our firepower wants to huddle around behind the same islands over here. Just there at B4. Really does not make any sense why they're doing that. We have a Königsberg, an Ishmael, a Texas, and a Coing, all just kind of hanging out over there. So I decided I'm going to push down on this flank, try to give my team some spotting, and try to deny the enemy, so they can't come around this flank on us. At least, send enough torpedoes that way to kind of discourage them moving in. Now the Trento, he's a tempting target, but he is fairly maneuverable, and he has been maneuvering aggressively in this game. Being an Italian cruiser, though, he doesn't have hydro, and that would work in my favor. But if you look at his position on the mini-map, he appears to be heading in behind that island at F2, so he's not really a good target. My torpedoes would not intercept him before he got in behind that cover. So I'm also looking at that New York. The New York's driving in toward us. Peter Valenki, that's a good target, but he's nose on, and he's maneuvering. Being nose on, that gives him the greatest possibility of dodging my torps. So I'm kind of hoping that he's going to give me broadside and push in. But he's taking some serious damage. He's sitting broadside to, not really broadside. He's giving good angles to our enemy, or to my friendly battleships. Now, had he continued on this course, I would have definitely torped him. But look at this is his mistake. He's turning toward me, showing his full broadside to a Texas and a Conga, it's a Conga. And he pays for it. Friendly Ishmael just absolutely deletes him for showing broadside. Alright, so we have Trento coming back out, but the Trento is turning away at max range. Torps would never get him. So that leaves the New York. We don't know where the Omaha is. So Mr. New York it is. He's driving in toward us, but he is staying behind the island. So now the question is he going to remain behind the island, or is he going to drive out? He's going to put himself in a position where we can ambush him around a corner. So I'm just trying to assess what way is he going. In game, I actually had him targeted. And I was kind of wondering, because in game, in the live game, the torpedo lead indicator wasn't drifting at all. And I was like, is this guy AFK or what? No, we see him fire, so we know he's not AFK, but he's stopped broadside to his enemies. He's not in a good position. So friendlies are calling out to focus fire on the New York, and now the New York is moving again. So he's turning away. He doesn't want to face the Texas and the Congo by himself. So he's going to try to seek cover behind the island. Wow, I took a big hit there, a couple citadels. I did screw up here, though. I let him get too close around this low corner on the island, and I got spotted. So I gave away my position. Had I not been spotted, and then I mess up again here because I did not anticipate this island has a low saddle on it. So when I come around this corner, I'm going to be briefly spotted again over the island. So that was a mess up for me. So now he knows I'm here. He's not going to come around that island. I did send torpedoes anyway on the lead indicator, hoping to get him, but he is continuing to turn out. So I'm going to pop smoke and just shoot at him for a little bit here, maybe get some fires going on him. And the first salvo does give a fire. So I'm just going to try to stack some fires on him. And in typical low-tier fashion, this New York uses his damage con to put out the first fire. So I'm going to continue to pelt him, hoping to get another fire going, which unfortunately I'm not going to. Just going to continue to shoot as long as I can shoot. A minute left on the smoke screen. And we're going to come out and try to flank around him. Looking at the mini-map, we can see that we have the New York is heading out. So he's not going to be a good torp target. But if you look, we have a Normandy and the enemy Coing heading our way. They're driving straight in toward us. So they are potential targets. As our torps come off a cooldown there. So I went ahead and initiated my speed boost, tried to close this gap a little bit. I have the consumable, why not? And I know in the replay this is showing the New York, but I was actually following the Coing in the live game. And the Coing appears to be turning out just a little bit. So I'm going to I'm trying to maneuver around his side some, and I'm putting torpedoes out on and just behind the lead indicator in case he maneuvers a little bit more. If he turns out a little bit more, it's going to shorten up the torpedo drop. So he'll actually intercept them sooner. So that's why I threw one set short, kind of on the middle of the lead indicator. But unfortunately for me, he starts turning toward me. Go figure, right? And that's going to give him an opportunity to dodge. And again, the Japanese torpedoes have a kind of terrible detection range, so he was able to dodge all but one of them. We did get a flood, and it forced out his damage con. So he's still ticking down, but the damage isn't coming from us. So somebody has a dot on him somewhere. So we're going to go ahead and stop, and we're going to just start shooting at him. Try to get a fire going on this guy, because we know his damage con is on cooldown. If we can stack a couple of fires on him, that'd be great. The guns are facing away from us on both the Coing and the Normandy, so I feel pretty safe. Nobody's targeting. Remember, I'm running priority target. But unfortunately, I don't get the fire I want right here. But we're going to keep on plugging away. And he goes down to the Texas. Now the Texas is in a horrible position right now because he is sandwiched between a Normandy and a T-22. And take control over here, and he's almost dead. He is dead. He goes down to the Normandy. Okay. You take a peek at the mini-map. The Normandy is beginning to execute a turn. T-22 is going to beach himself. He's going to pull a Notzer here. We don't know where the Omaha is, and we have the New York hanging out in the cap. Now, in the game, I'm thinking that this New York is probably, that they know I'm in the area, and the New York is probably going to hang out in the cap because it is a fairly well defended position because of all the island cover. But also, he doesn't want me slipping in there and capping out the base on him. So now we pick up spotting on the New York again. And I'm trying to line up a shot on him. And he's actually beginning to turn in. So he's going to be turning toward me, which is an ideal situation, as long as I can maintain stealth range, keep him outside of my spotting range. I'm just going to watch him. I expect him to head back toward the other side of the cap because he's just doing a cap patrol right now. And we also have the Normandy heading back into the cap from the other direction. So I'm going to wait for the New York to settle out on a course across the cap. She's heading exactly across the cap now, so his course and speed are going to be pretty steady. So I'm going to throw out both torpedoes sets right close to the lead indicator, and I'm going to turn out. I almost got spotted there. I hit the 6.5 kilometers, didn't break it to 6.4. Keep an eye on that New York and Mr. Normandy. If you look at the mini map, it looks like they're going to do a port-to-port crossing here. which is actually proper for rules of the road. But yeah, their timing seems to be just about perfect. Is that possible? Wait for it. Wait for it. Simultaneous kills at a double strike. 5 torpedoes, 3 floods, and 2 battleships down. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the perfect storm. That was, if you look at the chat there, I was kind of elated on that. One set of one torpedo spread, 2 enemies killed. That was fun. I'm actually getting compliments from the folks that we killed. That was a lot of fun. All right, so now there's nothing left with Omaha. The Omaha is heading outbound, and he's going to be facing the Ishmael. He's not going to last long. He's showing the Ishmael broadside, so I'm going to head into the cap because I'm here, and why not? You never know what could happen. The Omaha could torp the Ishmael. You never know what will happen. So I'm going to head into the cap and away from the Omaha in case he decides to come around that corner after me. And it's only a matter of time before the Omaha goes down. That was an amazing... I mean, the game itself wasn't a thriller of a game, but it was fun, and it was worth it just for that strike. I'm capping, and the Omaha, actually, there he goes. We'll see you post-credits, folks. You know, I could claim that was all skill, but we both know it wasn't. Aiming for the New York, yeah, the other one was just absolute blind luck. He was in the right place at the wrong time. All right, we picked up the victory in the Hatsuharu. Hatsuharu without concealment. 175,000 credits, 4,301 experience, 1,000 free experience. We did pick up the Dev Strike against that Budyoni. That lovely, beautiful double strike, and First Blood. Dealt 90,000 damage. That's not too bad for a Tier 6 destroyer. 36 shells on target with 21 pins, 9 torpedo hits, 2 incapacitations, 3 kills, 1 fire, 6 floods, and 6 spotted ribbons. Let's take a peek at the team score. Came in number 2, right behind the Ishmael. In fact, let's go ahead and see if I can compliment him. There we go. That Normandy was great. Yeah, I couldn't do that again if I tried. All right, detailed report. Sank the Normandy, or the New York, the Budyoni, the Normandy, and did some decent damage on the coin there. Of course, most of the damage came from our 9 torpedo hits. A little bit of flooding and fire, not much. And then take a peek at the credits and XP. Going to bring home 82,000 credits. All right, folks, thank you for joining me for that. I hope you were entertained, and I look forward to seeing you in game.